Yasoda Nandana Braja Janarantana Yamuna Tira Vanachar Jaya Radha Madhavam Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari No. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, chapter 7, text number 44. So I did 44 and 45 because there is no purport to the 44. But here is written 44. Kimhu. It starts with Kimhu. What you have written here. Okay. I was asking this. Kimhu vyavahita patyam Daragara danadayam Rajyakosha gajjamatya Vrityapta mamataspada. Somebody wants to repeat? Mataji's. Okay. Translation. Since the body itself is ultimately meant to become stool or earth, what is the meaning of the paraphernalia related to the body, such as wives, residences, wells, children, relatives, servants, friends, kingdoms, treasuries, animals, and ministers? They are also temporary. What more can be said about this? Prahlad Maharaj is quite a poet. So his conclusion is, what more can we say, you know? It's quite clear what he's giving as a picture here. The body is ultimately meant to become stool or earth. Stool means because if some animals will eat the dead body, then that body will be transformed into stool through the body of these animals, or into earth if he is burnt or buried. That so-called body, which is so dear to the conditioned soul, that means to us, is meant to become like this later. So Prahlad Maharaj says, if this is the destination of this body, then what is the meaning of everything which is related also to this body? This is just temporary. And then he concludes, what more can be said about this? That means it should be now clear in your mind what is the nature of this body and everything that goes together. So verse 45, Kim etar atmanas tuchai saha dehinana swarai anartai artha sankashai nityananda rasodayet. And mysteriously, I never noticed that there was the name of Lord Nityananda in the teaching of Prahlad Maharaj. But he's saying this, Nityananda Rasodayet. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Celeste Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All this paraphernalia is very near and dear as long as the body exists. Which paraphernalia? That's what we were saying. Wives, residences, means house, wells, children, relatives, servants, friends, kingdoms, treasuries, animals, and ministers. Of course, Prahlad is a prince. Prahlad is a prince, so he has another vision of what goes with the body than us. He says, elephants and horses. We don't have often elephants and horses at home, but he does because he's a prince, so his father has elephants, no problem. So all this paraphernalia is very near and dear as long as the body exists. But as soon as the body is destroyed, all things related to the body are also finished. Therefore, actually, one has nothing to do with them. But because of ignorance, one accepts them as valuable. Compared to the ocean of eternal happiness, they are most insignificant. What is the use of such insignificant relationships for the eternal living being? Purport. Krishna consciousness, devotional service to Krishna, is the ocean of eternal bliss. In comparison to this eternal bliss, the so-called happiness of society, friendship, and love, here we have to understand material love, is simply useless and insignificant. One should therefore not be attached to temporary things. One should take to Krishna consciousness and become eternally happy. Nitya Ananda. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyanam Janam Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sigurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Swapadantikam Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goradhishe Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavadebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangom Ragayate Girim Yat Kripam Tamaham Vande Shiguru Dhyataranam. Please forgive me. My voice is, I don't know how to say. Very interesting. Nityananda Yasoda did. The ocean of nectar of eternal happiness. Nitya means eternal, Ananda means happiness. Rasa means nectar, and Udhare means ocean. Nityananda Yasoda, the ocean of nectar of eternal happiness. Compared to that ocean of nectar, what is the value of insignificant things? Tucha means which are most insignificant. All these things which are related to the body. And actually, Prahlad Maharaj makes a very interesting analysis. He said, everything, all these things which are connected to the body, when the body will be destroyed, they will be destroyed also. So when I was reading, I was thinking, how he says things? They will not be destroyed. It's not because a man is destroyed that his house is destroyed, his family is destroyed, and everything. It's not like one dies and then everything else dies also. I was thinking, why is he saying that? It doesn't make sense, no? Because, I'm sorry, but if somebody dies, his wife may still remain alive, as well as his children, and his house may still remain standing, no? So I was thinking, why? Prahlad said, as soon as the body is destroyed, all things related to the body are also finished. I was thinking, why? Then I understood, from his point of view, they are finished. Because if you lose the body, which is your way to connect with these things, if your body becomes destroyed, then you lose also everything that was going with the body. You lose your house, you lose your wife, you understand? In that sense. And on the absolute level, they may not be finished, but for the person whose body is destroyed, they are finished. Because he cannot relate with them anymore. So not only you lose your body, but you lose everything that was going with that body. That means everything you struggled for during your entire life, everything you struggled to build up during your life, you lose also. That means absolutely everything you're losing. So, Prahlad Maharaj said, therefore you have to understand that we have nothing to do with all this. If we know already we will lose it, everything all together, that means we have nothing to do with it. That means we should consider this is insignificant. Only because of ignorance one accepts them as valuable. How he says this? Anarthai artha sankashai. Anarthai means which has no value. Artha means value. Anartha means which has no value. So he has demonstrated in this long, explanation that all these things, they have no value. But somehow or other, they seem to be valuable. Artha shankashai, appearing as if needed. It seems out of illusion, Prabhupada right, because of ignorance, because the living entity doesn't understand, then we think, oh, this is important, this body is important, and I have to do everything possible to maintain this body alive as long as possible, as comfortably as possible, and to try to enjoy this body as much as possible by accumulating as much as possible. This is ignorance. Person who doesn't understand what is the result. So everything we are dealing with, we have to understand what is the ultimate result of this, not the immediate circumstances. Immediate circumstances may be something, but we have to look a little bit further, no? And we have to think, what will it become in the future? So the notion of future has to be present always in our mind. Okay, now this is okay, but what will happen a little bit later? We should consider always, and not make plans only in the very near future level. We have to try to figure out what is a little bit later, or what is a little bit further also. And then we will see another picture. We will understand that this body will die. I remember when I was a young boy, every time when it was my birthday, I would calculate how many years I still have to live. Because I was told you can live to 100 years old. Of course, I was expecting that certainly I will live up to 100 years old. And then I was calculating 1 year left, 1 year less every year. And that's why I didn't like very much the birthday. But that was my feeling. I was thinking, oh, now already 1 year left, or 1 year less. And I was becoming confused every year that my life is becoming shorter and shorter. Somehow or other, Krishna was preparing me already to understand the philosophy. And at some point I understood, yes, if my body will become destroyed, then what is the use of working during my entire life? That's useless, because the body will become destroyed. So let me try to figure out if there is no other thing that I could do, more interesting. Because working is not interesting, no? Nobody is working out of bliss, no? Once I was giving a lecture in France, and a lady, she told me, yes, I work because I like. Then I told her, okay, very well. So I can tell to your boss that he doesn't need to pay you. because you like it, so anyway you will do it, no? That's what you just told me. So we don't need payments, no? You just work out of bliss. That she didn't expect that. She needed the money also. So of course, if there was no money, nobody would work. We're just working out of ignorance. So something which is without value looks to be valuable. And Narottam Das Thakur said a very similar thing. He said what? Adana jatana kori, dana teyaginu. During my entire life, I have been running after which has no value. Adana. Dana means treasure or value. My entire life I have been running after some things with no value. And because of this, I could not dedicate my time to what is actually valuable. Dana jatana kori. Dana jatana kori. Dana teyaginu. Teyaginu, what means teyaginu? Sacrifice. I sacrificed what was really valuable in order to run after what was.
It's like abandoning.
Yeah. I gave up what was precious. And instead of that, I ran after something which has no value. Adana jatana kori, dana teyaginu. Narottam Das Thakur write this. Why? Because during my entire life, I didn't. What is the song? Radha Krishna Nabajiya Mainu. Huh? Radha Krishna Nabajiya Mainu. Because I have not worshipped Radha and Krishna during my entire life. I have worshipped so many things, given my time to so many things, but how much time I have given to the worship of Radha and Krishna. Now Narottam Das Thakur is lamenting and having this feeling. So Prahlad Maharaj is here, informing his boyfriends that they should not make this mistake. And they should understand from the very beginning what is valuable and what is valueless, what has no value. He used the word tucha, which is very insignificant. Hara kobe nitai chande koruna hoibi, samsara vasana mora kabi tucho habi. Samsara avasana, that means everything which is in this universe is a tucha, very insignificant. When will I understand this? This is another song of Narottam Das Thakur. He's saying, Samsara vasana mora kabi tucho habi. When will I understand that everything which is in this universe is insignificant? Because it is temporary, and because I have nothing to do with it, and because it is full of suffering, no? Asasvatam, dukalayam, asasvatam. This is the definition of the material world Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita. Dukalayam, asasvatam. It is temporary and full of distress. You like? Sometimes Bhagavatam is a little bit unpalatable, you know? Cutting our dream. Oh, you know, I was sleeping nicely under the shade of a coconut tree. Why do you want to wake me up? No? Sometimes we like to sleep. No, 5 minutes more. But the dream is not desired. In the 11th canto, Shukadev Goswami explained, actually, there are three states of sleep. You know them? One is the deep sleep when there is no dream, very deep sleep. And the second one is what we call paradoxal sleep, when we are making all the dreams. And the third one is the awakened state during the day. That's also another state of sleep, according to the Bhagavatam. So what is wakefulness? Wakefulness is when one realizes who he is eternally, beyond the reality of this world. That is called real awakening. Otherwise, unfortunately, that means we are all sleeping 24 hours a day, no? Because even when we are awake, according to the Bhagavatam, this is another level of sleep. So we are living in the dream of the material world. Sometimes dreaming with dreams, sometimes dreaming during the day, sometimes no more dreaming, because when the ignorance becomes so dense, then there is not even dream anymore. So that is our life. We're just going from one stage of sleep to another one. And there is no bliss in this. So, Parad Maharaj telling us, there is something else. Nityanando rasodayet. There is an eternal, an ocean of nectar of eternal happiness. This is what we should strive for. And he uses the word Nityananda, which is very interesting. Nityananda, Arakabe Nityananda, Koruno Hoibi. By the mercy, actually, of Lord Nityananda, we can understand the insignificant, how to say? Insignificancy. I want to make a noun, a name out of. Can we do that? The insignificance. Okay. We can understand the insignificance of everything which is in this world. And then we can direct our energy and concentration toward what is significant. So this is the first thing in spiritual life. We have to understand what is is valuable and what has no value. And what has no value, we don't need to think about that, because it has no value, no? We don't think about the trash. We put it in the trash bin and then we forgot it, no? We don't think, oh, I put that in the trash bin, but maybe it could be useful. Some people, they are doing this. I remember in Paris, a long time ago, I was in Sankirtan and I saw a woman, very miserable woman. She had this kind of trolley you use in the supermarket, you know? And it was full of plastic bag, any kind of plastic bag. And she was wandering in the street, and every time she would see a plastic bag, she would take it. She would fold it very meticulously, very nicely, and she would put it into her, how do you call this, trolley? No? Or supermarket? And then she would continue. And then again she would see another plastic bag. She would stop, she would collect it like this, fold it nicely, and put it. And it was full. And obviously she was doing this day after day, whole day long. And my heart really became, how to say, pierced by seeing this woman is using her life just to collect plastic bags. And she was doing this actually I saw her at the very place where we end Jagannath Ratha Yatra every year. So I was so sad. How can human beings reach such a level that there is no bliss? She didn't really look blissful, but there was some craziness that installed itself in her mind, and she was doing that all day long. And then when I was thinking this, Krishna gave me a result, a realization. Krishna gave me a realization at that very moment, and then I realized, wow, actually what we are doing all day long is very similar to what she is doing. Because we are always thinking about also useless things, may not be plastic bag, but not so much different. That will end up in the trash one day or another, no? And we're collecting them, putting them in our house and all this. And then I realized, oh my God, that's not only this woman, that's everybody gathering some things like that. So I realized, it's very important to understand. I would have liked to say to that woman, these bags, they have no value. Don't waste your time with these bags. You could employ your human life to collect something more valuable, you know. And then I thought, maybe I should before also realize what has no value in my life. No? This is the quality of a sage. A sage is somebody who understands what has some value and what has no value. And he gives up what has no value and he focuses on what has some value. So it's very important to meditate deeply on this in our life. Because maybe so many things which have absolutely no value are still very much present in our life. No? And they distract us. They steal our time that we could dedicate to what is very valuable. No? It's very important to understand this. And then to try to meditate on what is most valuable and on what we should rather focus our time. No? So what is most valuable? You don't know? Yes?
Krishna, well, to me at least it's Krishna.
Krishna is most valuable. Yeah. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says, for the living being, which is us, for the jiva, there is three treasures. The first is Krishna. The second one is a service to Krishna. And the third one is love for Krishna. These are the three treasures of the jiva that we have to try to collect. And everything else, we don't need to bother about it because that will be destroyed. But Krishna is a treasure. Service to Krishna is also a treasure. And love for Krishna is a treasure. So we have to try to use our life to acquire these things. To acquire service to Krishna, that means to gather more and more service to Krishna. This is a treasure, because the service to Krishna will give us the chance to be gradually introduced to Krishna. We will be introduced to Krishna by serving. And then also to love for Krishna. So love for Krishna we should desire to attain. Service for Krishna we should gather, it's already around us. We are fortunate, we have come into the vicinity of Krishna's service. And now a lot is available, no? Around us, we can serve Krishna. It's not everybody who has this chance, but somehow or other, Krishna allowed us to come in contact with his service, which was inaugurated by his devotees. So we have to take that advantage and then try to gather his service for Krishna in order to attain Krishna and love for Krishna. Then our life will become very valuable, very precious. We will gather very precious thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked to Ramananda Roy, who is the richest of all persons? And Ramananda Roy answered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that person who has love for Krishna is the greatest capitalist. He's the richest person of everything. Even though he may look poor. You know, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they were looking quite poor. You know that story of the Brahmana? One day there was a Brahmana. He was living in Varanasi. And he was worshipping every day Lord Shiva with a lot of devotion. You know, we worship Lord Shiva with bell leaves. Yeah. These are the leaves we offer to Krishna, to Shiva. Krishna, we offer tulasi leaves. And to Lord Shiva, we offer bell leaves, which are big leaves like this. And so he was worshipping Lord, and Datura flower, no? For Lord Shiva, Datura flower. This white flower like this, like a trumpet. We offer to Lord Shiva. So he was worshipping Lord Shiva every day. And one day, and he had some desire in his heart. He had a daughter. And in India, he needed to marry his daughter because she was growing up, and he needed, what do we call this? I forgot the name. Comment on dit une dot?
You mean like a female daughter?
Huh? Dowry? Is this the English term? That the father has to give along with his daughter in marriage, dowry. I forgot that word. So he was so poor that he has nothing to give to her daughter. So there was no hope for him to marry for his daughter. So he was worshipping Lord Shiva and praying to Lord Shiva, please help me to get something that I could give as a dowry so that my daughter could be married. And because he was so sincere, Lord Shiva appeared to him. And he told him, okay, I can help you. You go to Vrindavan, and then you ask for somebody named Sanatan Goswami. You search for him. He can help you. He has some very valuable possession. No problem, he will help you. So the Brahmana became very joyful. And at that very moment, he started to go to Vrindavan. So when you are in Benares, going to Vrindavan is not so difficult. You just have to follow the river. And the river upstream, you will reach first, Allahabad, and then the river will divide into two, Ganga in the right and Yamuna on the left, and then you take the left branch and you follow the Yamuna river, and then you arrive in Vrindavan. So afterwards, it's quite a walk. You have to walk for a few days, but in these days they were not feeling walking because that was only way you could travel. So he walked all the way to Vrindavan. And at that time, Vrindavan, there was no village in Vrindavan. That was a jungle. So he arrived in Vrindavan and Vana means forest. So it was a forest. It was not only a forest, but it was a jungle. There were tigers at this time in Vrindavan. That means big forest. And he was thinking, oh my God, how I will find this person, Sanatan. He told me so. So he went to some village. There were small villages. There were small villages here and there. And he asked, do you know somebody who is named Sanatan? So you have to know something. In Vrindavan, everybody knows Sanatan Goswami because he is the friend of everybody. Sanatan Goswami was very dear to all the inhabitants of Vrindavan because he would solve all their problems. Sanatan Goswami would spend hours and hours every day to listen all the problems of the villagers and give them some practical solution. That was his kindness toward the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So they knew him, of course. So yes, we know Sanatan. So where can I find him? Oh, you know, the problem is he has no house. He is living in the forest. Where in the forest? But he has no fixed residence also in the forest. He's just wandering. So you'll have to go in the forest and find him somehow or other. If you're lucky, you may find him in the forest. So the Brahmana, you know, it's Lord Shiva who appeared to him. So at least he had some faith. It's not every day that Lord Shiva appears to you and tell you go to Vrindavan. So he could not be stopped by this little thing. And Lord Shiva told him that. So he went in the forest. And after wandering in the forest for a while, he arrived on the bank of the Yamuna at some place. And he saw under a tree there was a very beautiful person. His body was like shining, like gold. And his eyes were closed like this. He was like in meditation. He looked very peaceful and beautiful. You know, all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they do have the beauty of Krishna also. They have very long eyes like lotus, very long arms, a golden color. Not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody. Sanatan Goswami, Rup Goswami, Jiva Goswami. You know, when Jiva Goswami came from Bengal to Vrindavan, he was 15 years old. And when he would go through the villages, everybody would stop. They would just stop and they would look. And they would think, who is that person? We never saw anybody as beautiful in our life. They were wondering, this is a demigod who appeared on earth? Or what is that? They had never seen such a beauty as Jiva Goswami. So Sanatan Goswami, same. And he was there, seated very peacefully. And he understood that must be him. So he approached Sanatan Goswami and he offered his obeisances, full body, you know, as a sign of respect. And Sanatan Goswami, he felt in his heart the arrival of that person, so he opened his eyes and he saw a Brahmana in front of him. He said, oh, my dear Brahmana, what are you doing lying on the floor in front of me? Can I do something for you? Because Sanatan Goswami is very humble and he was thinking Brahmana is a great person, you know. So how can I help you? And the Brahmana explained to him his story. Lord Shiva told me, you can help me for having a dowry to marry my daughter. And then Sanatan Goswami became confused. He said, oh, you know, I am very sorry because I don't understand why Lord Shiva told you that. Because actually I may be more poor than you. You see, I'm living in the forest. The only thing I have is this, how we call this, gamsha, but I'm searching the English word for those who don't know.
Clothes?
Yeah, this clothes. Around my waist, that's loincloth, exactly. The only thing I have is this loincloth. I have nothing else. So I would be very happy to help you, but I fear I won't be able to do it. So. But still I'm confused because that's Lord Shiva who told you that. So Sanatana Goswami started to think that Lord Shiva makes some joke, you know. Maybe Lord Shiva wanted to joke at me or to put me in some kind of embarrassment, and he sent that Brahmana. And now I find myself that I don't know what to do with him. And the Brahmana became angry. He said, no, that Lord Shiva who told me that, he cannot be wrong. He must be right. So you cannot dismiss me like this. You have to help me. Believe it. I'm coming because Lord Shiva told me to come. It cannot be true. So Sanatana Goswami said, wait a minute. Maybe I have something that could help you. You know, last month I found a touchstone. You know what is touchstone? When you touch something to this, it will become gold. And so Sanatana Goswami said, oh, now I remember. Last month I found a touchstone. Would you be interested by that? And the Brahmana said, yes, very much. Where is it? He said, that's the only problem. I don't remember where I put it. I threw it on the beach near the river. So you may go and try to find it. I don't really remember where it is. You know, I'm meditating all day long, so I just forgot. But it was in between this area. You can go and try to find out. If you find it, that may be what Lord Shiva wanted to say. So the Brahmana ran and he went and he searched. And in the sand, he started to dig the sand everywhere. And then after some time, he found the stone. He said, wow, that's maybe that. And so he tried, he touched something to that stone, and poof, that thing turned to gold. So the Brahmana became overjoyed. He said, yes, now I became maybe potentially the richest person in this world. I definitely will be able to give a dowry to my daughter and to marry her. He was so joyful, you know. So nearly dancing. Maybe he danced. I don't remember. I was not there. So he came back to Sanatana Goswami and said, thank you so much. I'm very grateful. Now I will go back to Benares. I knew Lord Shiva's blessing must have been true, you know. Thank you so much, dear Sanatana Goswami. And then he went. And then walking on his way back, that Brahmana started to think, why did Sanatana Goswami threw that stone away on the beach? It doesn't make sense, you know. Everybody would like to have such a stone which can turn everything to gold, no? So he was thinking, why did he send away that stone? Then he thought, that's because he must have something more precious than that. And actually he tricked me. He just gave me that stone, whereas in his possession he must have something more precious than that. And I was tricked. Okay, I'll go back. He said, let me go back and I will find out what he has which is more precious than that. This is a symptom of wealth. When you get some, you want more, no? And if I give you more, you want again more. So he was thinking, there is something more together. I could get something more. Let me go back. So he went back. again offered his obeisances to Sanatana Goswami. Again, Sanatana Goswami opened his eyes. Oh, Brahmana, again you came. What do you want this time? He said, I fear this time I may not be able to help you anymore. Did you marry your daughter? Or it's so short, you came back very quickly. And the Brahmana told him, actually, I think you tricked me by giving me this stone. I think, after a very deep reflection, that you must have something more valuable in your possession, which you didn't give me, and you instead gave me that touchstone, which is quite already valuable, but now I became greedy to know what is that thing more valuable than you have, because otherwise you would never have rejected that thing, you know. And Sanatana Goswami smiled and said, my dear Brahmana, you are a very intelligent person. Very intelligent person. He said, okay, I can give you that also. But first, you have to throw the stone in the river. That was like that pierced the heart of the Brahmana. And he was thinking, that's a hard choice, you know. Because he didn't know what Sanatana Goswami was doing. Maybe he was joking with him, or so he was a little bit doubtful, and he looked at the stone, he looked at Sanatana Goswami, he looked at the stone. It probably took him some time, but after he took his courage and he threw the stone in the river, never to be seen again. And Sanatana Goswami told him, well done. So he said, now, can you give me what is more precious? Sanatana Goswami told him, yes, come. So he came, and Sanatana Goswami told him, no, come closer. So he came closer, and then Sanatana Goswami leaned toward him, and then he reached his ear, and he told him, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He said, I'm sorry, I have no jewel, but I can give you these two jewels, which are the name of Radha and Krishna. And if you chant these names sincerely, these two jewels, they will appear in your heart. That's what I can give you. That is the treasure that made me abandon that stone. And the Brahmana understood. And actually, that Brahmana never went back to Kashi. He forgot about his daughter. Sorry for the daughter. He just forgot about her. And he just stayed with Sanatana Goswami, and he became disciple of Sanatana Goswami. So this is dana, a valuable thing, you know. That story makes us understand what is unvaluable and what is valuable. And that Brahmana was the object of Lord Shiva's mercy, who arranged all this in order to make him understand what you're searching has no value. You want some money to marry your daughter? I have to give you something more precious than this. And Sanatana Goswami told him, this is the real jewel you can have. The holy name of Radha and the holy name of Krishna, they are not different from Radha and Krishna. So if you chant these names sincerely, they will gradually reveal themselves to you. This is the real treasure that you have to collect. By this, you can attain Krishna, you can attain love for Krishna, and then you will become the richest man in the world. Sanatana Goswami, he was living like a poor beggar in Vrindavan. But Srinivasacharya writes in his song, Sad Goswami Astakam, they were the richest men because in their heart they were how to say, carrying. They were carrying the most precious jewel. How does he say this? Gopi Bhavara Samrita Abdirari, no? Something like that. Yeah. So they looked like very poor person. Sanatan Goswami looked like a very poor person, but in his heart, he was the detentor, we can say, detentor, possessor of the most valuable jewel. He had that love, which even Lord Brahma doesn't have. So most rich person, this is what is considered the ocean of nectar of eternal happiness. This is what we should try to acquire in our life, not external things. They will not bring us happiness. But we have received from Prabhupada, who is none less than Sanatan Goswami, that very same mantra, these very same jewels that Sanatan Goswami gave to this poor Brahmana. No? We have received this very same jewel from Prabhupada. And we should do like the Brahmana, forget about our daughter, forget about that stone, throw that stone in the river, and just understand that this is the real wealth that we have acquired. And try to unpack that treasure that we have received. No? Because now it is still packed. Like a gift, like in Christmas you get a gift and then you have to unpack it. Because the box in itself is useless. If you would just keep the box, you have to know what is inside the box, so you have to unpack it. And then you get the thing. Sometimes not so great, sometimes nice. But the holy name is also appearing in a form which is in the beginning a little bit concealed. Or as Sachinanda Maharaj said, it's like a jewel which is covered by dust. This, for example, ruby. When you get that from the mine, it doesn't look like in the shop, the ruby. It's like a gross stone. But inside is the ruby. You have first to cut that dirt, which has become, very thick and like stone also on top of it, and then you will unveil the precious stone which is inside. So he said that the mantra that we have received is like that also. The jewel is there, but unfortunately it's a little bit covered with dust, and we cannot perceive the value of that jewel yet. So we have to learn the art of unpacking the holy name. So the heart is by sincere chanting, patience, and offering our respect to all the living entities without any discrimination, and particularly to those who are also chanting the holy name. We should be very respectful with them and be very humble. If we practice this chanting in this way, then gradually that will remove with that dust or that dirt which is covering the jewel of Radha and Krishna's holy name, and then they will reveal their beauty to us. And the holy name will become beautiful. And so that's an art. We have like our life in front of us to unpack this treasure. But we have to unpack it. It's not just about chanting the holy name. It's about chanting properly the holy name. Otherwise, only chanting the holy name will be beneficial, but not enough to attain the treasure of pure love for Krishna. Pure love for Krishna requires that we have to chant properly. So this is what Prabhupada came to give us. He didn't give us only the holy name. He gave us also his books. And inside his books, it's explained how to chant the holy name. So by going through the books, we will understand how to chant the holy name. And I can tell you, it's there, inside Prabhupada's book, how to chant the holy name. But we have to go through the books in order to get it. By going through the books, then we will gradually understand what is the secret, internal secret of chanting the holy name. Because it cannot be understood like this. You know, it's a secret. And it's quite a hermetical secret, because it's about a mood or a feeling. Chanting the holy name, how it should be, means purely, is a frame of mind. It's a consciousness. So it takes some time to really understand and grasp what is that way.
So earlier you spoke about the spiritual sky. Well, not exactly, but you said that there's no point in pursuing things that are going to die anyway in this world, right? And so my question is, like for example, we will be able to just relocate, to find the people that we have met here in the spiritual sky. Like,
your question is very interesting, but it is cutting what I was saying. So I will come back on this. So Krishna himself came to give us this treasure, and Prabhupada came to give us this treasure that Krishna himself came to give. When he appeared in his form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the form of, because when Krishna appeared as Krishna, he didn't give the holy name to anyone. No, as far as I know. This process of chanting the holy name was not distributed at that time. Maybe to some isolated person, probably, but not like this. Then Krishna decided to come again and to distribute what is most precious. Also, I was saying it's very important to understand what is dana, or what is precious, because then we can understand this is on what my life has to become focused. So what is dana? Then, so you will ask many persons, everybody will give you different answers. No? This person will say, this is precious, this is precious, this is... But what is precious according to Krishna? Because he is the ultimate authority, no? Isn't he? So we have to find out what is precious according to Krishna. And we call this Swa Bhakti Shriyam, the personal treasure of Krishna. Krishna also himself, he has a treasure. That treasure, Krishna is generous by nature, so he can give also that treasure. Adbhuta Karunya, Adbhuta Vadanya, Adbhuta Audarya. Krishna is unlimitedly compassionate, unlimitedly generous, and unlimitedly magnanimous. Munificent. Means he is ready to give everything he has. Are we ready to give everything we have? Krishna is ready to give everything he has. He's willing to do so. That's Krishna's way of being, actually. You know, sometimes people have a wrong understanding of Krishna. They're thinking, what will happen if I give everything to Krishna? He will just take everything, and then I will be left with nothing. No? So they fear. And the word surrender is bitter to them, because they're thinking, surrender. Mm-hmm. I remember when I went to the Vyasa Puja of Sachinanda Maharaj 2 years ago, that was his topic for 3 days. He was speaking about that. He was saying, my dear devotees, I would like to change your understanding of the word surrender, because most of the time you feel surrender is a little bit unpalatable word, no? And there was a silence in the room. But he said, because you misunderstand what means surrender, so you don't like so much this word. You have to surrender. Oh. It's like, what he say, if you would actually understand what means surrender, you would do it on the spot. Because it's very blissful, it's full of happiness, surrender. So Krishna, that's his nature. Yeah, so some people, they have a wrong understanding. They say, what will happen if I surrender to Krishna? Krishna will take everything. And what if I lose everything? What will I become after? Because they don't understand Krishna. Krishna is Param Satyam. Param Satyam means he is the complete whole, no? Om Purnam Adam Purnamidam. That is the definition of Krishna. He is complete in himself. That means everything belongs to Krishna, no? Purnat Purnam Udachyati. Purnam Udachyati. He is complete. If everything belongs to Krishna, what can he take? What can he take? The only answer is nothing. That's the only thing that Krishna cannot do. He cannot take anything because he already has everything. In one sense, if we say it in that way, no? So Krishna actually, he can only do one thing, which is to give. Because when you have everything, you cannot take anything, no? It's already yours. The only thing you can do is to give. So the only thing Krishna can do is to give. So what fear is there to approach somebody who cannot take anything but who can only give? You understand? Now, how we will receive from that person? By doing the same. If you give him yourself completely to him, then he will give you. Otherwise, he will remain like that, like a witness, waiting for the day when we will understand that we have to give everything to him. But when we understand, sarva dharmam parityaja mamikam sharanam vraja, just give me everything. Everything you have, everything you are, just give it to me, Krishna says. And then don't think about them, I'll take care. What Krishna will do? He will give everything he has. So I can tell you that's a good deal. Because if you compare what you have with what Krishna has, that's a good deal. And Krishna is proposing you this deal. You give me everything you have, I give you everything I have. No? That's a good deal. Krishna said to Uddhava, he said, that person who understands my deal and who actually does it, he is the most smart of all businessmen, Krishna said. What can we give to Krishna? Nothing. Our life is very insignificant, tucha, which is most insignificant. Our life is tucha. And Krishna, he has everything, and the most beautiful jewel is in his possession. He's ready to give that. So, because we don't want to do it, Krishna did the first step. He said, anyway, they don't want to do it. And he knew they won't do it anyway. Because we are so attached to what has no value. We can't understand what is valuable. So Krishna decided to do the first step, and then he came to distribute what he personally, after long deliberation, considered his most precious possession. And he came to give that to us. This is called Svaprema Namna Amrita Atyudara. Krishna came to distribute that pure love. This is called prema. This is considered to be real wealth. And he decided to place that love inside his name. That's how he decided. What? Why? Sorry, I don't know. That's how he decided to do it. Because there was needed to make some nice, how we call this, package. When you give a treasure, you need to give the treasure chest that goes along, together, no? Then the person will be able to receive it properly. So Krishna put the treasure of the pure love, prema, inside the treasure chest of his name. Beautiful treasure chest, jeweled treasure chest, you know. Very beautiful. But inside is a very beautiful treasure. So Krishna came in the form of Mahaprabhu and he gave us that holy name, by chanting which we can unlock that treasure and access to that most beautiful unlimited love which Krishna himself is carrying in his heart. Krishna is given access to that. This is what is valuable. I have to explain, because the Bhagavatam is explaining about all these things. So we have to understand this is valuable. Let us forget about all the other things, and let us try to get that treasure that Krishna is giving. That love that Krishna placed inside this particular mantra is also of a very special nature. This is the highest level of love that exists even in the spiritual world. This is called Unato Ujvala Rasa. Unato Ujvala, most shining love. Ujvala means shining. Most shining love. Most beautiful. That Krishna even himself, he wants to be transported by that love. He considered this love is a treasure even for himself. So he came to give us that. inside that holy name. Of course, I will not elaborate on the nature of this love. If you want to understand more, you will have to read the Bhagavatam. Yes, it's there. I cannot know. It would require many, many hours to explain what is the nature of this love. But if you want to receive that love which is inside the holy name, you have also to understand what is the nature of this love. So the Bhagavatam will be necessary in order to chant properly the holy name. The Bhagavatam is like the instruction, telling us how we have to chant the holy name, telling us what is that, because now I am just giving some, glimpses. It's not possible to grasp the entire thing just by the few words that I am saying. It requires to investigate more. What is the nature of this love that Krishna is giving? What is the magic of this name? How we access to this love by chanting this name. Everything is there, it is explained. But it requires to go through the Bhagavatam and through the Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's why Prabhupada struggled so much to write these books, to give it to them, because he knew, I gave them the holy name, but if I don't give them the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, they won't be able to unlock that treasure, no? So Prabhupada wrote day and night, or more, all night long. He would write all this purport to gradually give us, or elevate us to the level of understanding when we can understand what is that love and how to access it. Because it requires some preparation. Because if I would tell now to a newcomer what is the nature of this love, that person cannot understand what I will tell him. It's not possible. Because in his experience, he has nothing to relate with what I will have to say. You understand? So first, it is necessary to elevate us gradually through the process of understanding beautiful things and more beautiful things and more beautiful things. Like if you're coming from a dark cell where you have spent your entire life, you cannot be introduced to the sun directly. That will burn your eyes, no? And probably you won't be able to understand what it is. It will be too much, no? Too much sun. So you have to go through a gradual, little bit light in the beginning, and then your eyes will become used to a faint light, you know? And then gradually more and more light can be introduced and you will understand. There is a process. We have been living in the world where there is no love for so long, because this is the definition of material world. It's called Jada, Jagat. Jada means, how we call this? Dull. Jada means dull, the dull world. What means dull? Dull means where there is no love. That's dullness. We are living in the world where there is no love, unfortunately. So in order to be introduced to the highest love, it's needed to go through a recovery first, no? Recovery, or somebody who has not eaten for so many days, you cannot give him Rajboga offering of Radha Manohar. He will die. No? He will die. First you have to give him some very watered down juice, like this. You can first some water, sipping the water, gradually his capacity to relate with the food will develop. So the same thing, we are approaching a subject from which we have been separated since times immemorial. This is another world, this is another experience, this is another reality. We have no idea of what is written in this book, even though it looks like something that we understand, but it's not that, it's much more. It's way beyond what we can understand. So Prabhupada knew, he gave us such a treasure, who can understand it? So he understood I have to present also the purport of the holy name. So the purport of the holy name is Bhagavatam. And inside, the very conclusion will be found also inside. It's in the middle of the Bhagavatam, the very conclusion of how to chant the holy name and all this will be there. It's there inside. But in order to find it, we need to gradually become, familiar with that level of reality, the world of love. We have to understand first what is love and what is not love, no? Because we don't know what is love. We have no idea of what is love, no? Because we have no experience of what is love. We have experience of what is lost in this world. But love is another thing, no? In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Swarup Damodara and Ramanandara, he said, pure love for Krishna is like the water, the golden water of the Jambu River. It simply doesn't exist in this world. Have you ever seen the golden water of the Jambu River? Have you seen? No? Because it doesn't exist in this world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the same thing. Pure love for Krishna is like the golden water of the Jambu River. It just doesn't exist in this world. So this is something else. Pure love for Krishna is inexistent. That's the rarest thing in the material world. Actually, it does exist inside the heart of the pure devotees. That's the only place. That's why we chant every morning, Shri Guru Sharana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Sadma means the abode. Inside the four, I'm worshipping that personality in whose heart there is pure love for Krishna. I'm worshipping that personality. And that personality has the capacity to give you that love. How will this person, Guru, give you that love? He did it, he wrote some books. And inside these books, he is explaining you everything, introducing us gradually to the reality of that world of love. Because the world of Krishna is the world of love. So Sanatana Goswami said, Oh Bhagavatam, he is praying, speaking to the Bhagavatam, he says, Oh Bhagavatam, every of your syllable, from the first syllable to the last syllable, is showering pure love for Krishna. That's Sanatana Goswami's prayer to the Bhagavatam. But we have no taste for reading the Bhagavatam. Sanatana Goswami said, even one syllable, what's the first syllable here? What's the first syllable here? On the board of the verse of today. Kim. Ka is the first letter. But Ka is the first letter, but syllable is sound. So Kim, no? That means in that Kim, there is pure love for Krishna inside, according to Sanatana Goswami. What means Kim? And he's saying, Kim karom ham, Ayidina Dayadranat He Maturanat Kadavaluk Shasi Hridayam Tad Aloka Kataram Dayita Brahmyati Kim Karomyaham. In that Kim, of that verse, there is a lot of things. Anyway, just to understand, what Prabhupada gave us, it makes sense. This is the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita and Upadeshamrita and Nectar of Devotion. They are the main books of Prabhupada. The other books are secondary books of Prabhupada to enable us to understand the primary books. They are not less important, but the main thing is in these fundamental books: Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Upadeshamrita, and Bhakti Rasamrita, Nectar of Devotion. Such a treasure is there. Prabhupada is explaining to us how we can unlock the treasure of that divine name of Krishna. And then if we follow that method, by following the Bhagavatam and chanting this name, then we can have access to the real wealth, most sublime wealth that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute. Yes. Okay? Thank you very much.